The opinions, rants, hot takes, and wild swings heard on this podcast are strictly for entertainment and not meant to knock, bury, embarrass, offend, suplex, pedigree anybody, unless you choose to take it that way, in which case that's on you. If you get offended by something we say, just remember it wasn't personal, you probably weren't the target, and we record these shows with caffeine, chaos, and questionable judgment. So relax, laugh, disagree, and yell at your screen. It's all love here at Between the Ropes Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step inside the ring with Koltyn Tyler. This Between the Ropes Radio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Between the Ropes Radio. I am Koltyn Tyler, and I have to start this video off kind of sad, in a way. I will be kind of solo here on out because some stuff happened behind the scenes with Zach. I cannot go into detail about it. The channel will still be active. There still will be episodes with a few guests. And one of those guests is someone I met on TikTok and have become friends with throughout this past couple months. You want to introduce yourself?
Well, why not? Hey, how's everybody going? It's Joe Monroe from the Joe Monroe Show. Happy to be on, what is it, Between the Ropes? Is that what this show is called?
Yeah,
I've been on so many. They mix together now, man. I'm not going to lie.
I understand. Yes, this is Between the Ropes Radio.
Between the Ropes Radio. This is what happens with concussions. You forget, even though it was mentioned to you 5 minutes ago. This is 5 years of concussions, folks. I tell you what.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as he said that he has his own podcast too, and he is also a former worker in the Kentucky area. So we're kind of close here. I'm here in West Virginia. You're in Kentucky, so
Yeah, that's kind of close. There's a commission in West Virginia, right?
No.
Oh, lucky you. Kentucky has a commission. I wish it didn't.
Well, we can thank a couple people for that, and I know both of them kind of personally. So,
well, I'm sorry. I know who those people are.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to name drop them, but
best not. It's probably best not to do that.
Yeah. Usually, me and Zach, we wrote stuff down and we talked about it and just went from that. I'm going to do something different with you. Let's just talk about what's on our minds. Let's just get everything out of the way because so much has happened in the wrestling since the last episode dropped. It's been about...
Jeez, do we got time for that? I mean,
we don't have to cover everything as long as we cover the major stuff. Which one of the major things is obviously this Saturday night's main event, John Cena's very last match.
Yeah, it's truly an end of an era. I know a lot of people want to hate on Cena, and a lot of people are saying he's not the GOAT, but from a worker's perspective, look what all he's done for the business, look what all he's done out of the business for the sport. In my mind, he's definitely one of the GOATs. I think this is going to be very, very taboo, and this might, ruffle some feathers here. I think he's just a little bit better than Flair. That's just me. Just of all of his contributions. I know. Listen, I get it. I know where you're going with this. You're like, hang on, that's the Nature Boy, right? Okay, that's cool. The Nature Boy Ric Flair. We know the man, the myth, the legend. Ain't taking that away from him. 100% one of the GOATs in the business. But if you think about it and look at everything from a historic standpoint, John Cena may not have been a booker, but he was a dang good worker. He carried that company through a slump. And if you can carry a company through a slump, in my mind and in my opinion and historical facts, you're a dang good champion and you're a dang good worker. To me, John Cena's a little more goated than Flair. Flair just needs to sit down and shut up sometimes, especially nowadays, because he's getting up there and poor Flair. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, this poor guy. Oh, this poor guy.
Flair is the only 70-year-old that looks over 100.
Well, I mean, if you stop and look at it, man, the guy partied. Well, he's still partying. What am I saying?
Yeah.
He's been through hell and back, but I think here's a question for you, if you don't mind. Do
Go
you
ahead.
think Flair has oversaturated himself in his later years? Think about it,
I mean,
because we supposedly had the last match a few years ago, but then just 2 months later he took a booking in, I thought, what was it, Puerto Rico or something?
I believe it was Puerto Rico. I actually don't remember.
Yeah, so that wasn't his. Listen, also, full disclaimer: you never retire from the business, so
Exactly.
yeah, don't ever say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like here's just my opinion. I think Flair has oversaturated himself. That's kind of overshadowing his legacy a bit, and I don't think it's just hurting him. I think it's also hurting Charlotte.
I mean, yeah. And the only reason I'm agreeing is because he sit there and said, no one is ever going to beat my record with how many belts I held. I will agree with that because all belts combined is like 21.
Something like it.
World titles.
Depends on the day. Flair will probably say up to 50, but historic record is 21. Not just WWE. Historically, even outside WWE, it is 21.
Right. And then reports came out right before WrestleMania, right when we were setting up Cody and Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Reports came out that he gave WWE the go ahead for someone to. They didn't say who, but all the reports said was someone was cleared to beat the record.
Mm-hmm. And who better than John Cena?
And that was where I was going with. Only one name came up with that, who had 16 at the time, tied with Flair. That was Cena. And who was getting a title shot right before WrestleMania when all this came out?
Cena. Now, question: did Roman? Let's go to another record breaker. Did Roman beat the longest reign WWE Championship reign?
No.
Is he now the longest? He almost got it though, right?
No.
But he beat Hogan though, right?
Yeah, he beat Hogan.
Well, there you go. That's all that he needed.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody touching Bruno. I'm sorry,
Right.
Especially for back then. Nobody's touching those records at all. Especially the women's championship. Yeah, good luck with that one, pal. But yeah, if he beat the Hogan record, to the modern wrestling fan, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, we're still going to look at San Martino.
So San Martino held the title for 4,040 days with his first reign.
Oh, that's his first reign.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
2,803 days for his second reign, and his third reign was 1,237. So altogether, he held it for almost 10,000 days. So that was almost 10 years.
Yeah, he ain't, nobody's touching that at all.
No.
But if Roman beat Hogan's record, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
That's all that's going to matter. But if you look at I think what they wanted to do whenever they ushered in this new era, and we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
I think Paul Levesque wanted to be like, okay, it's a new fresh start. We need to get some records in this history book. Roman being one of them, which is great. I loved heel Roman. I loved the Tribal Chief. That was a great character. And to me, that was the only thing I personally watched. Flash forward to today, the only thing I'm paying attention to is Cena's retirement match.
I mean, to be honest, I believe that's what only everybody is focusing on is Cena's last match because that's been the focal point since last year.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else mattered to anybody because if you look at Twitter or X, if you look at X and search up WWE or wrestling in general, that is 99% of the post you'll see is John Cena's last match.
Yep.
And which we found out this past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
on who his opponent would be because I missed it. I actually forgot that it was Monday because I was sick. Um, but we found out that it was the reports were true. Sadly, that it was Gunther. I'm saying sadly because I actually wanted it to be LA Knight, but I did find out that LA Knight does have some heat with Triple H and some other people in the back. Everything that happened was to write him off TV, and he is suspended for a few months.
Now, with that, I think they're just going to write out his contract and let him go.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do, which sucks because he's great. Whether you know him as LA Knight or Eli Drake,
Yeah.
great worker. Now, with this whole Gunther situation, they're facing backlash. I don't think Gunther's going to make it. If they're smart, Gunther won't do it. It will not. It doesn't make sense.
Everyone is saying that there has been teases about a certain countdown happening.
Now, if it's Jericho, that would be okay because they had one heck of a feud in what was it, mid 2005, right when Jericho got fired. Is that right? Or fired, quote unquote.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they had that match at SummerSlam. Yeah, they had a good feud. Other rumors say it's Edge, which I think right there that would be fantastic.
Well,
but I can also see Gunther. The reason being, if you look at the card for Saturday night's main event, most of those people are the young up and coming talent.
Well,
and that was Cena's choice too.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I don't know if anybody else caught this. Obviously, everyone caught the countdown clock on Monday Night Raw because that's all I seen on X.
Mm-hmm.
But no one else caught this because I was going back watching promos, watching some stuff that was posted just randomly, like clips and stuff. I saw a promo, and I forgot who it was that was doing the promo, but they said, "You think you know me, but you don't."
Right.
Hinting at Edge.
Yeah.
And
so it could go either way.
Yeah. So I just think that this is just WWE playing it smart and feeding into what we want, but not giving it to us just to make us think like, oh my god, this is happening. But why are you teasing both people?
Just to keep you guessing.
Yeah.
Because isn't that the name of the game of the business, to keep you guessing?
Exactly.
Okay, you could be I hate using this term, but smart mark. But
yeah,
we still want to keep you guessing. We want to keep you on your toes.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think with everything with Cena, I hate it that it's ending soon. But hey, all good things must come to an end. But he did sign a 5-year contract as an ambassador. He's still going to be part of the company, which is smart. If you're going to keep somebody, and I really wish Hogan would have done this, because I think, well, if Hogan would have done, we never got Hollywood Hogan. But I think after a couple of years with Hollywood Hogan, I think he kind of oversaturated himself, kind of like what Flair's doing. Well,
Yeah,
mind you, Flair's not wrestling. Flair's just being Flair, but. I think that if you look at the monster that we know as professional wrestling, as I like to call it, it's kind of hard once you get to a certain point that you're really comfortable with. Either you're a fan favorite or people love you. You're just like, okay, this is how I want everything to be from here on out.
Yep.
Sad news. That's not how that goes. You'll get to a point and then you'll have a drop, and you got to learn how to take that drop. So to speak, you got to learn how to take a bump. Because once you're back up, guess what? You got to bump again. When you get started, you're taking bump after bump after bump. Oh, okay, you got a title. Great. Okay, you're a fan favorite. Great. You're at the mountaintop. You peaked. Now it's time to come back down.
Exactly. And
that's just that's human nature, though, man.
I hate saying this, but I think that honestly, I don't care anymore. I'm at that point, and I've been around people that I just don't care what I say anymore. And if I get blackmailed, I get blackmailed. At this point, I don't care. I've had people tell me that titles don't matter in wrestling, that they're just a prop, and that it don't really matter.
rebuttal off that if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
In a way, depending on let's say TV. Yeah, in that aspect, it's true. It's just a prop. No, but nobody gives a crap anymore about it, which is sad. You should, because once you're a champion, that's a company saying, "Okay, you're the face. You're going to be kind of pulling the reins. People were trusting you to pull in people to come to this show." That's the point of a title. People believe in you enough for you to be, whether it be a heavyweight champion or whether it be something mid-card title like an All-American championship or a tag team championship, whatever division, or women's championship, whatever division you're a champion of, you're the face of that division, and you are trusted to make sure that you're pulling people to see your said division. And I hate saying this, people, especially nationally, then there's some independents that are, excuse me, that are failing to see this vision still, and it's basic stuff. If you believe just in yourself and not in the title or division that you are in, you are going to fail. Exactly. But if you go into the mindset like, okay, they trust me with this, now I got to make sure not only I got to pull my own weight, but I got to make sure everybody in my division pulls weight. I got to make sure everybody in the back who is behind me pulls their weight. I don't need to be cocky. I don't need to be arrogant. I don't need to be this smug son of a gun. Oh, well, the promoter trusted me with the title. You got to listen to what I say or else. No, that's not how that goes, brother. I hate saying that. No, that's not how that should go.
And if you have I don't mean to cut you off, but I really hope that a couple of people that used to work around here hear this.
Yeah, well, there's a few people that will hear this and probably get mad at me for saying it, but it's the truth. Oh, let me let you in on something. 6 months into this business, I had a title. It wasn't like a mid card title; it was the Brotherhood Championship. It was just like the $1 million title. Nothing too fancy. There's a little bit of a legacy. They want to mess with me and say, "Well, it was unofficial, so you don't count." Well, yeah. Well, just remember who had a big goatee around his fat freaking waist for the first 6 months of his career. All right, thought so. Shut up. But to me, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want a belt, because when you first start, yeah, man, I got a belt. I can't believe it. Oh my god. Then you're kind of like, okay, I got a belt. What do I do now?
Yeah.
What's next? What do I do now? And all that matters, and you should know this, is the fans.
Yeah.
You got to make sure they want to come back to not only see you, not only see your opponent, but see the company in general.
So, the company I work for and the guys that are helping me, not the one I work weekly for, but well, I mean they kind of want it too. But the other company I work monthly for, I can say it's my own show. Mega Pro Wrestling. I work for they want to build me up as the country version of Dirty Dom. So
I can see it.
They want me, so I'm growing my hair out. I got the beard, well, the goatee and stuff. And I got a picture. I don't know if I want to put it up or not, but someone said I look just like Eddie Guerrero in the picture. But the fact that I did a soft-spoken promo against my locker room uncle, Bobby Yella. I come out to 160 people booing me. I'm wearing a ICP, the Mighty Death Pop shirt, because I'm the type of heel that I wear a band or a person or some type of shirt of my opponent. And I'm a juggalo myself, so I already wore that shirt. You know, whatever.
Whoop whoop. Sorry.
Well, whoop whoop. I was getting called a fake ass juggalo, saying that I'm not that I wasn't a real juggalo, and that I don't rep and all that, and you know I was like, this is working.
You just got to feed into that.
Yeah, And my dad's a ref, so I was about to jump out because I know two of the guys that were sitting front row. Just to get more heat, I jump out of the ring and have my dad jump out with me to hold me back, and that just made the fans love it even more.
As long as here's another thing people get a very misconception about professional wrestling, and I think fans and workers, well, mostly workers at this point, some of these newer guys kind of rub me the wrong freaking way and rub legends like Hitman Louie, who's a good friend of mine, and JD Thunder, who's also a good friend of mine, the wrong way too. When you come in and you pitch something, make it make sense.
Exactly.
Please, for the love of all that's good in professional wrestling, make it make sense. Just because you want to go out there and do spot after spot after spot, okay, that's great. I would love to see that one day, but how is that going to make sense to them right now in this moment against this said opponent?
Exactly.
How is that making progress into a story that you're working on currently right now? Whether you're a champion or you're chasing after the championship. It's cool to have spots. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on spots at all. I think maybe one spot's more than enough. But if people would just go back to basic professional wrestling, and this is probably just me being an old school person and growing up around, Mid-Atlantic and all that, watching old tapes and stuff. I'm not that old, but
Right.
I studied the old tapes. But yeah, if people would just keep it simple, make it make sense. Let's see this story. Heck, right now you can start a story and 6 months down the line, you're like, holy crap, look how far we've come. Whether you work once a month, twice a month, or every week, don't matter.
Exactly.
But what kills me is the arrogance of some people. It's like, well, I don't think that's good. Okay, first off, don't tell a promoter that or a booker that, because that's like, okay, well, I can't trust this guy.
Right. I mean, I only pitch ideas that I know I can do, or if it benefits someone else. I go up to a promoter and I'm like, I saw the show last week or last month, and I believe, or whoever's booking the show, because the around here now, you got the promoter and then you got the two bookers now, so it kind of just whatever. But I go up to one of them and I go, hey, I got this idea for me, or I got this idea for these two, or whatever, and if they like it, they'll use it. If not, they'll probably tweak it or whatever, or not even use it. But I never tell a promoter what to do. I just say, hey, here's a suggestion.
Right. And promoters will 9 times out of 10 ask you, how do you feel about that? Okay, or what would you change, or what do you think? Well, whatever. But if a promoter's like, hey, this is what you need to do, and this is what I want, and you say no, guess what? You're not going to get either booked in the spot you're in or booked in general anymore.
Right.
That's just common sense. People listening to this probably like, oh, there ain't no way people's that dumb. Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. But
Yeah.
But it's one of those, don't speak unless spoken to, or if you're going to bring up an idea, bring it up at an appropriate time. Don't bring it up in like the middle of a freaking show when everybody's running around with their heads cut off.
Exactly.
That's not a great idea. That's no. And another thing is, don't pester too, because if you keep pestering, it's 9 times out of 10, they're just going to be like, okay, well, you're annoying. I don't know how much longer I want you here, but you got to listen to what the booker says, is basically what I'm trying to say with all this.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Mm-hmm. No, but yeah, and it baffles me how many people do that, because if you let the inmates run the asylum, that's setting up a company to fail.
Exactly.
That's the best way to put it.
And a lot of people want it to be a certain type of wrestling, and there's a lot of people that really want it this certain type, and that's 80s. And
Yeah.
they want it to be back to the old school, not just the wrestling, but the locker room.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and in that we'll say formula. We'll say that the formula of that.
Formula, yeah.
If you look at this, we can even go back to the 70s if we want to.
Yeah.
If you look on how everything was run back then, look how much television of. I'm not talking about WWE. I'm not talking about them. Just them, I should say. I'm talking about AWA. I'm talking about Mid South. I'm talking about Georgia.
Smokey.
I'm talking about World Class. I'm talking about Smokey in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And Championship Wrestling from Florida. All these guys had one specific formula, and it worked, especially if they were with the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
They had one specific formula, and there was stuff that made them stand out.
Yeah.
World Class had the Von Erichs. Georgia had Tommy Rich. Mid-Atlantic had Flair. Florida had Dusty. I can go on and on with this, but
and here's the thing that everyone kind of gets wrong, and this one's probably going to shock you because it shocks a lot of people whenever they actually find this out. The thing that everyone says the reason the territories died was because of Vince and WWE.
Yes and no.
The reason everything died, or the territories died, was because the people saw something new and they wanted to go to that.
Exactly. So it's kind of like that analogy with the Attitude Era. You know, people were sick of the cartoonish stuff they see in the 80s. We want to see more we want, reality back into it.
Exactly.
Which is what wrestling, not WWE, not rock and wrestling, we'll say that. But like territory wrestling, a lot of people didn't want to see that. But I'm going to rebuttal something, and this is something that's on a recent episode of the History of Pro Wrestling, exclusively on the Joe Monroe Show. Sorry, I had to shameless plug my show there.
You're good.
But I talked about this. Whenever Black Saturday happened, after Vince bought out Georgia's time slot from the Superstation, a lot of people were mad, and I do mean a lot of people. Even Ted Turner was mad. And then a year later, Vince had to sell to to Jim Crockett Promotions, which then in turn, a few years later, WCW. But I think if you want to be honest, it was Vince McMahon, because people love the rock and wrestling thing. I do not like Vince McMahon as a human being. I think he's vile. I think he's a sick person and he needs help. But I will say, business-wise, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm an old school guy, he had something working. He took it national. He decided he's seen something and he's like, okay, people are interested in this. But see, a lot of people get this common misconception about Vince McMahon. He could read people. He could read what the audience wants. I will give him that. I will give Vince that. Well, okay. Well, sometimes he can say that, but when he really wants to focus on it, because we've seen it with the golden era of wrestling, and we've seen this with the Attitude Era. When he sits down, he can be like, okay, people want to see this. This is what's going to happen. But back then, he wasn't nationally known like he was, 10 years later. He knew he had to buy up the territories.
Mm-hmm.
So in turn, to rebuttal off what you said, everything does lead back to Vince. Eventually it does, because he started the rock and wrestling revolution, and he's the one that bought off the time slots.
Exactly.
So in a way, yeah, it is Vince's fault that the territories died. But I will say this: the territories could have made a comeback, but the only problem with that is, and this is a problem that we're kind of sort of not seeing anymore, thanks to the invention called what you're on right now, the internet, listening to this. Because if you notice these little territories are starting to pop back up, and I'm loving it on the independent scene. But the only problem with that, with the territories trying to do like a restart, and companies like Smoky Mountain did have local cable access television. I'll give them that, but he wasn't nationally known. And Jim Cornette was kind of smart with Smoky Mountain in that turn, because he had his guys from Smoky Mountain, like what was it, the Heavenly Bodies? What was it,
Yeah.
Dr. Tom and good night. Oh God, who was it? Was it Stan? No, was it Stan?
No.
Well, anyways, that's gonna bug me. I just talked about that 3 weeks ago, but that's been 3 weeks ago.
The only
But
one
he
I
had
know is Tom, the Dr. Tom one. That's the only one I know.
Dr. Tom Pritchard, right?
Yeah.
But he had the Heavenly Bodies come out on WWF television. He versus the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
For the Smoky Mountain. I mean, come on, you can't get any better than that.
Exactly.
And he tried to help out the NWA a little bit, because if you stop to think about it, right in the middle of the Attitude Era, there was that NWA invasion where guess who was the champion? Dan the Beast Severn.
Exactly.
He was the freaking NWA World Champion at the time, and people, it's like a blink and you miss it type deal. It's like, wait, that freaking happened? Yeah, it happened. Why didn't it work? Because Vince didn't want anything besides WWF on there. Which I can say that he did, but he didn't, because he could have said no, and he could have said no to Paul Heyman all that time too.
Exactly.
With ECW, but he didn't over exaggerate it or really help it, so to speak, to a point where people would be interested in it. He basically, oh well, you're on my television, time to bury you. I'm the best. That's how that's going to happen.
And then hit him with the future endeavors. Yeah,
basically. But yeah, man, that's so Vince definitely killed the territories, and it was smart. It was very strategic, but I think it came back to bite him on the butt, because look at the state of WWE now.
Exactly.
I know I know they got AEW as competition, but I mean,
I hate to say it, WWE is the number one company in the world right now. But
yeah, but look how far they have fallen from that.
Yeah.
I mean, this and a lot of people's like, oh, it sucks. Well, no, this happens in wrestling all the time. Look at the early 2010s. Look at what happened there. We're back in a slump. Cena was still the guy, and he was still trying to make it work, but it was a slump. Right now, they're in a slump. AEW is sadly in a slump.
Yeah.
Wrestling right now is in a slump, and I hate it. Except, guess where the independent scene? Because people's paying more attention to that, and they need to be paying more attention to that, because especially with like NWA and stuff like that. I mean, there's the NWA Knoxville back now, and it's great. I like seeing those little territories come back up, man. But sorry, I didn't mean to take over the show. I told you once.
You're good.
Get me started.
You're good.
But yeah, like I think. Long story short, yeah, it was Vince's fault. That's why I was trying to get to. but eventually it bit him right in the butt, and it bit WWE in the butt. And let's be completely honest, if AEW's kind of still that breath of fresh air that everybody needs, just wish they would do something with frickin' Ring of Honor. But that's a story for another time. But if we didn't have AEW with that as that fresh air that we have, WWE would be in a lot worse shape than what it's in right now.
Exactly.
A lot worse shape. Because I still think we was talking about this through friends of mine. We were talking about it. They're like, "Do you think Cody would have stayed on the independent scene if AEW didn't happen?" For a couple of years, yes, but I think eventually he would go back to WWE where he's at right now.
Right, and
I don't think he'd be as big as a star as he is, but he would have.
Believe it or not, that question got asked to me a couple years ago. It was, and believe it or not, it was me and Zach talking. He looked at me and asked me, anybody in AEW be as popular as they are now if AEW wasn't around.
Right.
So the answer I gave him was, I think AEW would have been found either way, with or without Cody, because the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega still would have went to Tony Khan and still made AEW.
That is actually kind of interesting. Because if you... Well... Yes and... that's a double-edged sword, though, because I think Cody kind of helped Bullet Club.
Yeah.
For over here.
Right. But
and that's all the Bucks were known for.
I mean, Kenny and them would have still brought New Japan and them over. The Young Bucks and all them would have still been as big as they are.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you. Okay. So you're saying the Elite would still have All Elite Wrestling, yes. Which is where, of course, they got the name from.
Yes.
Well, yes, because you would still... Well, I don't know if we would have All Elite Wrestling. I would say the buyout for... If that don't happen, then Ring of Honor would have gotten bought out and Ring of Honor would have had a national television set right now.
Yeah.
Because they were Ring of Honor guys.
Yeah.
But they were smart and did move their own company, which I think it was smart. Again, breath of fresh air. Everybody was excited.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing. I hid one thing from you, and it still made a whole point. I also said that AEW would have been kind of like a GTS, PWG, mystery wrestling type promotion. It would have been a super indie. It wouldn't be a major promotion. It would be a super indie promotion. It'd be like a GCW, PGW.
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and stuff. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It would be that level.
Depends on how much money Tony would want to throw at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, money is the root of all evil, especially in the sport of professional wrestling. And if Tony Khan would have, if they would have brought him the same portfolio as they did with AEW when it first started, that we know today, we would still see AEW on national television.
Yeah.
But if they didn't, he would be only paying for one maybe two pay-per-views, and that would be All In and All Out. I can kind of see that.
Right.
But that again, that's another what if. What if the presentation isn't good enough? Well, guys, I can only do one pay-per-view for you guys, and that would be All In. We'll just keep it an annual independent wrestling pay-per-view, just like the first one.
Right.
And that, it.
We'll do full year-round storylines, have it all accumulate at All In.
Make it here. Best way to say it for the people here. Make it the WrestleMania for the independent promotions.
Exactly.
And I am including NWA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan.
Exactly. Have all the major promotions come together. A Forbidden Door type. And there you go.
But make it as good as the first one.
Yeah.
If y'all want to, go check out the Joe Monroe Show on YouTube. Wednesdays every week we have the history of professional wrestling, where you hear me talk about wrestling territories, more in depth than what I talked about here, or maybe I did talk in depth. Honestly, when I start talking, I go blank. But Fridays, some Fridays we try to do what we call roundtables. I'm starting to do a little bit different. When's this episode coming out? Is it coming out this week or next week?
I'm shooting for this week, but it might be next week. But we're shooting for this week, so this week, yeah.
Okay. Well, a little change up. We're starting to talk about once a month for the roundtable. We'll get what I call the podcasting family, which consists of me, Professor Bear, Mike D from the Wrestling from the 313, Samp from Samp and Chance Pod, and of course my co-host, the Wizard himself, CZ. We sit and we talk about the last 4 territories I talked about on the history of pro wrestling. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to think the first episode of that's going to be the 12th. Yep. That's going to be on the 12th, and we'd love to see you guys there live on YouTube because I do stream it live. Love to see you guys there. Love to see you guys in the comments. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. What's wrong with you? You're listening to it. You might as well just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button.
Exactly.
That is right. So in other social media, you can catch us on Facebook, TikTok. We're going to start doing something special with TikTok. I was going live there for a little bit, but I think we're going to keep it live with trivia. A lot of people love the trivia stuff, so we'll do trivia stuff on the TikTok, Facebook. You can just catch random stuff from there from our Facebook page. We had to rebuild it thanks to some numbskulls who apparently say I was impersonating myself. I guess I'm just that freaking talented. Yeah, wow. Whatever. But yeah, apparently, right. I must be that good. If I was that good as a worker, where the heck's my paychecks, man? Come on now.
Exactly.
But yeah, go check us out there. And that's basically it. Oh shoot, yeah, Spotify. We're going to try to get our Spotify channel or show, whatever, pull back up and let you all listen to the show instead of having to go to YouTube or something. So be on the lookout for that in the future. We're going to try to get that done after the first of the year.
Oh, nice. We're getting a Spotify. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You're all getting a Spotify. That's what I meant. But
yeah. Oh, also go check out the Wrestling Society Network at thewrestlingsociety.com. It's 100% free. Not only can you catch my show, you can catch other shows like A Bear's Thoughts, Sampa Chance Pod, Wrestling from the 313. And by the time this comes out, my good friend CZ, his other podcast, Card Subject to Change, it's going to be out next year. So, yeah, there's a lot of people with the Wrestling Society Network, man. And I'd urge you to get some of these guys on here, too. They'll sit and talk with you as much as I did.
Oh, I'll be sending out a lot of invitations now since everything's open now. Obviously, we'll put down in the description so you can find everything. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all liked it. We will see you all next episode.